morning, West Highland Way Day 2. Editor's note. Saying West Highland Way in the intro and maybe the wrap up at the end of the day is fine. But saying West Highland Way this, West Highland Way that, so on, gets tiresome. So I'm going to change it. I thought about the initials WHW, but that's as cumbersome as saying the full name. Briefly considered calling it The Way, but then it sounded like I was proselytizing or recruiting for a cult. So I think what I'm going to do is just simply refer to it as the trail. I think that'll be okay. Currently still in the lowlands by about a quarter of a mile. In a few minutes up the trail, I will officially be crossing the boundary into the Highlands. So thank you, lowlands, for a wonderful couple of days, but it is time to move on. I'm going to head up to Conic Hill, Balmaha, that Rowerdennen, and soon after that, the big question of the day is, will I climb up Ben Lomond? I just don't know. I'm going to wait till I get to the trailhead. That's off of the trail. And it'll depend what time I get there. There's plenty of light to be hiking by until 7 p.m. However, I need time to find a campsite and camp, so I need to be looking for a campsite and getting set up by 6 p.m. So it's about 8 a.m. now. I got lots and lots of time. Depends how I feel. I mean, I feel great now. We'll see when we get there. But yeah, I would think there's lots of miles to go. It's a touring day, so pack up the breakfast, pack up the lunch, pack up the scones and clotted cream. We're going to be eating on the road, and we'll settle down for dinner at the end of the day. Okay, I'm on the Highland boundary fault. You can see the line through those islands over Loch Lomond. The big islands, Cailness and Inchmoran. This line goes all the way across Scotland behind you, all the way to Stonehaven near Aberdeen, and you can't see it, but the line continues and you see some of the hills through Northern Ireland and County Mayo out to the Atlantic Ocean. Highlands this side, lowlands that side. Highlands are much older, 600, 800 million years old, more sedimentary, metamorphic rock, schist and slates. Lowlands are maybe 450 million years old or so, yet more iron ore and coal, hence much of the mining industry in Scotland is down in the Midland Valley terrain. Several hundred million years ago, these land masses came together. They were still south of the equator when it happened, and eventually migrated up to where it is now.
Momentary pause here because these are the first steps right on the shores of Loch Lomond. I'm just north of Balfour. Pan out a little bit, and if you can see over there, Ben Lomond summit is in clouds. I'll have to see what it is, how it's looking when I'm at the trailhead. Also taking the time of day into consideration. This is a nice section of trail. Trees aren't all that old, but there's just a wider variety now that I'm off some of those plantations. Still walking along the shores, just off the shores of Loch Lomond. I'll be doing this for a while. It's a lovely area, very pleasant to be walking along here. No, haven't done any footage for a few miles, so I thought I would get this footbridge. And continuing, just a lovely walk through the woods here. Had a couple of hills, short climbs, but as the miles add up, even the short climbs get a little more challenging. Just past the Mill of Ross, approaching Rawadennan. The hills to my side, to my right, and these trees provides a nice shelter from the southeasterly wind that's been blowing all day. And it's not terribly strong, but it is easier to walk when the wind's not blowing on my side and into my face. Another footbridge, and I'm going to film it. Don't know why footbridges are interesting, but they are. I'm passing the Rawadennan Hotel and the Klansman Bar. I wonder if they serve Cascale. I don't have time on this trip to stop for that. That'd be too long a distraction, but maybe a future visit. That was a Klansman, spelt with a C. I don't see a cask mark though, so probably no rail ale.
I'm just beyond the trailhead for Ben Lomond, the northern trailhead for Ben Lomond. There's a slightly more southerly one, which takes you a longer route up the mountain, up to Monroe. I think it's the most southerly Monroe. And then there's this northern one, which would take you over Ptarmigan Ridge to go up there. But because I needed to camp last night east of Conic Hill, I got here later in the day, later than I'd want to start that. I have to get up Ben Lomond, I have to get back down Ben Lomond, and then I have to get enough of the ways out of the restricted zone. There's a sign back there that I'm a little ways beyond now, said 1 mile to the end of the restricted zone, so I got a little bit less than a mile at this point. I didn't want to chance it though, it's just too late in the day, better safe than sorry. As a result, what it does mean is camping tonight will be further along the trail than I had planned, which is a bonus. It opens up some options for later on. I have some thoughts on that, and I'll just kind of decide what little extra things I'll do or what I'll spend a little bit more time on as the days go. At this point, I'm going to rest for about half an hour. I'm going to get the shoes off, get the socks off, air out my feet. They are damp. I'm going to switch out for my other pair of socks, not the sleeping ones, my other pair of socks, which are dry.
I'm now officially exiting the restricted zone, the no camping zone. Let's just pass right by there, and I'm just going to go another couple hours, maybe 3 hours, and I'm going to start looking for a campsite. Here's another footbridge that I'll film for you. Little waterfall before it. Now I'm going to turn around here. I'll show you. The way down was fairly steep. And it goes, keeps climbing up. So I couldn't film that. I would have fallen and broken my neck. But the footbridge I can film. Another view of the waterfall. To my left, we're still on the shores of Loch Lomond. And now let's finish this footbridge. Here we go. Starting to get a sense of the wildness of the trail in parts. This is cool. Remains of old homestead or maybe a hamlet. I'm not sure. We're near Raucosh. I don't think this is on the map, so I'm not certain what it is other than it's man-made.
All right, we're on the east shore of Loch Lomond. Across the water on the west shore, if you can make it out, is Tarbert. Now, historically, Tarbert and the lands north on the west shore of Loch Lomond were the lands of the Clan MacFarlane. I don't know all the details and stories of that, but with the clan culture and history, I mean, there was probably battles, rustling, stealing, along with trade, services, relationships through marriages, probably oaths made, oaths broken, alliances made, alliances broken. Fortunes would rise and fall, along with the rise and fall of the clans you're allied with and against. But there you go, MacFarlanes. Come back to Scotland and claim your land.
And here's another footbridge.
Okay, so it says here, your talk today should be on food and hydration. Let's start with my cooking stove and pots. Really, this is it. I don't bring them, at least not on a trip like this. There's only so much I can bring. I knew I wanted to bring the camera, and just really for space reasons, the Trail Designs Caldera Tri, which I love, and when I bring a stove, that's the one I bring. But I don't really need it. Hot slop, cold slop, in the end, it's just slop. So I don't bring it, I just have it cold in there. Now, actually, let me do the food first. As far as breakfast, this is what I like to call dremach, which in Scotland would simply be oatmeal and cold water. That's the bulk of it, but there's also protein powder, there's freeze-dried bananas, and there's some raisins in here. I put about half of it in before I start in one of these containers. A little bit later I put the other half in. And I've shown you before, but during the day for snacks, shortbread, beef jerky, Fritos. Now I used to do, instead of shortbread, I used to do candy bars. But there was just this one time I had a Snickers bar. I ate half and I just couldn't eat anymore. I don't have a sweet tooth. I've got even less now. I mean, I suppose as I get older, it's like everything else, bitterness sets in. So shortbread's a good substitute. Also, only has 4 or 5 ingredients, along with the 3 ingredients in Fritos, and just a few ingredients in the jerky. In fact, I counted. This includes my dinner, which I haven't shown you yet. Actually, let me do that. Dinner would be instant brown rice, dehydrated garbanzo beans, textured vegetable protein, and some salt and pepper. Now, surprisingly, at least it was for me when I read it, instant rice has the same nutrition profile as regular rice. So if you compare, white rice isn't particularly healthy to begin with, but brown rice has more nutrients in it, and instant rice it doesn't lose nutrients through the process they use for that. Now, I do reconstitute them in cold water. It's not intended for that. So it's going to take 45 minutes. I just get this going while I'm setting up my camp, which I'll do in a moment. And counting up all the ingredients in that for the full day, I got 21 ingredients. And I'm sure there's loaves of bread on the grocery store shelf that have more ingredients than that. One word I'll add in, if you do just pure soy protein like I do, make sure you have had it several times before you take it out camping. It does take a little bit for your gut to get used to straight soy protein. So the overall profile, about 1,800 calories, 200 carbs, about 150 grams of protein, about 45 grams of fat. Fat is just a dense source of calories. Protein, really for muscle recovery during the day, 145 is a good number for that. Carbs, really refuel the muscles. That's oversimplifying it a bit, but that is kind of essentially what they do. Now the calories overall, about 1,800. That is a bit on the low side for a longer through hike like this, but that doesn't count the full breakfast I had yesterday. It was a full fry up, so we're probably talking 1,000, 1,200 calories. Nor does it count the dinner I'll have in Fort William when I finish at the end. And one thing I do is I'll often add a quarter cup of olive oil to my dinner. I don't have it now. I didn't want to carry it until I needed it if I was feeling a bit tired, but I'm passing through villages along the way and I can always pick it up if I need it. So that is my food. Well, that's my food at least. I didn't really do the hydration so much. But you saw the smaller Nalgene. Now I need a wide mouth because I have to pour my breakfast and dinner into this. A small mouth on this, it doesn't work. I have a wide mouth soft bag, but I found it's just hard to get everything out, and it's very hard to clean when you've had food in there. Now there's a reason why I chose two of these small ones rather than one of the big Nalgene containers. At the moment I just don't remember why, but there is a specific reason why I carry these around. Let me grab my aqua mirror. And then I treat my water with the aqua mirror. I might not really need to do it with the water around here, but you never know if there's a dead animal in the stream. Or maybe the scary clowns. That idiotic fad that's going around the States right now. Maybe there's a group of scary clowns around the bend weeing into the water, laughing silently at me. Well, aqua mirror puts a stop to that nonsense, so I do use this stuff. Okay, here's your warning. Worst segment of the day. Okay, first an observation. The southern end of Loch Lomond, walking through a few more villages, more people around, just run into a lot of people out walking their dogs, and happy to see every single dog, and I'd love to see them run up, love to greet them, hiya puppy, but honestly, as it went on, greeting the owners got a bit tiresome. Wasn't enjoying that as much. It could be human nature, but I tend to think it's because I'm a jackass. All right, so where did my thoughts wander today? Well, kind of generally in the area of neurology and neurochemicals. Neurology specifically with face recognition. I'm not talking necessarily those super recognizers that Scotland Yard employs, but just the ability to recognize faces from years ago. I just had a moment that caught me a few weeks ago, about 6 weeks ago, in August. I went to see Olivia Newton-John in Washington State. I never particularly disliked her music, but I was never really a fan either. I was accompanied someone who's a longtime fan. I mean, back in the 70s, I was listening to The Who, Led Zeppelin, Jay Giles, whatever the album rock stations were playing. I never saw Grease or Xanadu. At that time, I was watching Star Wars, Conan the Barbarian, action-adventure movies. So I never, I was aware of her. She's a musical and cultural icon, and I probably saw her once or twice on Johnny Carson. But what was striking about that in the show, of course, the band is playing the warm-up music, and out of the inky shadows, stage right, Olivia Newton-John walks out, and immediately just pops in my head. Oh yeah, that's her. 40 years on, and I guess I wasn't listening to music all that much. I don't mean that in a mean way, but that really stood out for me. She didn't seem to recognize me, though. I should add, she's extremely gracious. She's a singer, a performer, but honestly, it seemed like her true goal, her primary goal, was to make sure that every single person was having a good time, and she succeeded in that. She did the song Physical halfway through the show. And I swear she was doing jumping jacks, and not these fake, half-assed pretend ones. She was doing full-on jumping jacks for about half the song. I mean, she must be in her 60s. It was amazing. She put the effort out. So I did enjoy the show very much. The other part, neurochemical part, I was reading article, I think it was in the New York Times, and this was a few months ago. I'm going to get him to go back and reread it. But that was one about the sleep patterns of prey animals. Like on the Serengeti, Thompson's gazelle might be lying down sleeping, and there's predators nearby. The predator gets too close, of course, wakes right up and they run. But they have the ability that just turns off. Once they deem they're safe, they go right back to sleep again. Now compare that to people. I know camping, if you've never camped before, or it's been a long time since you camped, the first time you're down in your tent, sleeping, and then you hear two squirrels chasing each other around a tree. Now it's odd, in a city, two squirrels chasing each other around a tree makes no noise. When you're out camping, it sounds like there's a pack of wolves running around your tent when they're doing that, and you wake up, and you're going to be up for a couple of hours when that happens. Just see the adrenaline kicks in, and it's not easy to come back down. Now, certainly, you do it a few times, and you do habituate to it. That's a different process, though, from what some of these prey animals do. And that was as deep as my thoughts got, because I don't remember the details of what exactly neurochemicals are released in humans versus other animals, and how they handle that. But that's it. Worst segment of the day, done.